say Jorge is I'm super glad there is a heat wave going on, because otherwise I'd just be going through menopause. Oh hey! Hi, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 5, Episode 6. And before we get started, I just need to thank my tipper dues. Now, this isn't all my tipper dues. I thank some on the review for Canada's Drag Race, and I've got some more for today because, well, it took me a while to get to this one, and I had more tips to acknowledge. So, without further ado, I would just like to thank Vicky Nolasco, Lauren Jeffs, Vito Vocuzzi. Hello, Vito. How are you, my darling? Adam McMahon and Joseph. It's either Tuccio or it's Tuccio. I'm going to say Tuccio. Joseph, if it's not, please let me know, and I will correct my manja cake pronunciation of your name. I'm so serious. Also, I would like to send a little shout out to some Redbubble models. Yes, you heard me. First of all, Miranda Kirkness. There's Miranda right there. Of course, she is the world-famous mom to Zachary. How are you, Zachary? It's me, Auntie Wilma. And she got herself the old-school Sweet Marie and the Ships at Sea coffee mug. Zachary is waiting on a button. It hasn't come yet. So if it still isn't there, Miranda, let me know. I've got some buttons here. Throw them in an envelope. I'm so serious. Also, I want to thank Positive Sakura. He got his Seriously Umbrellas face mask this week, and he looks fantastic in it, I'm just saying. So thank you to Miranda and Positive for both supporting me through Redbubble. If you would like to know how to get a fabulous Wilma merch like Miranda and Positive, all you have to do is check out in the description box below. I have links to Redbubble, I have links to Patreon, and I have links to PayPal, so you can tip or do as well if you feel so inclined. There, I think that's all the business handled. So let's get to it. Jorge, drink me! Oh, so it's the same drink as before, a Bandito, but with an umbrella. This isn't the one you dropped on the floor, is it? Oh, okay. So today we're drinking not Diet, I don't like Diet Coke. I don't know about you, I'm a Coke Zero girl. I have to be seriously honest with everyone. I don't drink pop. It's not my favorite thing to drink. So when I do, I usually have the one that's full of chemicals but doesn't have sugar. So Coke Zero and some tequila. Yummy. All right, so let's get to it. This episode started where last episode's left off, right after India's elimination, and the queens were very aware of how few of them there were left. Top 5. But Alexis couldn't celebrate. She felt completely betrayed by India's accusations, and, true or false, who wouldn't? Shay didn't mince words. She told Alexis that she had all but picked her lipstick, but in the end had decided that there wasn't reason enough to send Alexis home. And Shay wasn't the only one. It seemed that the only person who picked Alexis was India. Just saying. But Blair wasn't convinced. She wasn't going to take her eyes off of Alexis for a second. And to prove it, she gave us her best raws from Monsters, Inc. Always watching. Ooh, she should have done that for Snatch Game. So, as the queens de-dragged, it was very clear to Alexis that the only way she was going to guarantee herself a spot in this competition was to win the next challenge. So no pressure. The next day, the queens said goodbye to India officially, and even though they seemed to think that this was one of the longest messages on the mirror this season, I don't agree. I think it was just the snarkiest. The whole message was just another dig at Alexis, which kind of poos all over India's attempt at a noble departure, but Juju had a good point. Even though India was gone, we were still talking about her, whether we want to or not. But before the conversation could get too far along, there was Ru with this week's Maxi Challenge, a Charles family barbecue ball, complete with Ru's sisters, Roxy and Renee. They had me a barbecue. For this ball, the queens had to create 2 looks. The first look was country cousin realness, or what I like to call the Coco Montrese. Do you remember her from season 5 from the RuPaul roast? Anyway, the queens had to create a shady cousin of Ru's who crashes the backyard ball. The second look was backyard eleganza. The queens had to create couture from items found in the backyard. I'd like to find that Bruno in my backyard. And I mean that dirty. So right away, the queens got down to work. And for Juju, that meant asking who in the room could sew. Because clearly she couldn't. Both Cracker and Alexis said that they had made their costumes from time to time, but Shay was the only queen who'd been to school for it. Good for Shay. Blair said she was excited for this challenge, but the more she said that, and she said it a lot, it started to sound to me like she was trying to convince herself that it was true. Cracker felt she had been training for this challenge her whole life, mostly because her mom used to get her and her sister to recreate looks they saw in the museum out of trash, although I suspect that's not the way Cracker's mom sold that activity to children. Come on, kids, we're playing in trash. I don't think so. I think personally there are some bitter grapes there on Cracker's part towards having a less than affluent upbringing. Just me? And can I just say thank Gay for Shay Coule. Seriously, I'm so impressed that she helped Juju and Cracker with their sewing. And here's the thing about sewing. Sewing's easy when you know how. And when you know how, helping people is quick. Takes no time at all. I'm so serious. Not only did she help Juju figure out which side of the fabric was the right side and why, which is very helpful, she also helped Cracker solve her machine problems. It just took her a quick look to say, well, your tension is too tight and your stitch is too short. Done. Now that's an education worth paying for. So while the queens got into their sewing, Blair noticed that she had a letter from India. So did Shay. And so did Alexis. None for Juju. None for Cracker either, but for once, Cracker didn't seem to be taking it personally. Juju was so bothered that she didn't get a letter that she read Alexis's. Well, it's not like Alexis was in a hurry to read it. I'm so serious. Alexis's letter from India, as read by Juju, was pretty much what I expected it to be, until she mentioned potato salad with raisins in it, and then I realized it was all a big joke. Because who puts raisins in potato salad? Thank goodness Ru showed up to check on the queen's progress. Her first stop, Alexis Mateo. And she asked Alexis right away about the emotions that seemed to wash across her the minute last week's lip sync assassin was revealed to be Miss Vanjie. Well, of course Alexis was emotional. She didn't want to have to go home in front of her drag daughter. So to lighten the mood, Ru asked her how Alexis felt about this week's challenge, and she said that she felt good about it. Who are we kidding? Alexis felt great about it. She loves to sew. And it shows. Next, Ru visited Shay Coule, where their talk quickly moved to Shay losing her father to cancer days before the premiere of season 9. And as emotional as Shay got talking about her father's death, I was way more emotional at the fact that Shay really wanted her father to be there at the finale. I thought that was beautiful. And then Shay went and told us that her sister died a month after that. Oh, God bless. Seriously, here's to Shay Coule and her family. Seriously. Ru visited Juju next. And here's another queen who's right up there with Elizabeth Taylor when it comes to pain and suffering. Seriously, I know that there are a lot of sad tales in the LGBT expialidocious library, but Jujube losing her father and then being abandoned by her mother days later? Oh, what a heartbreak. Seriously. How is she so happy and upbeat? And apparently all that emotional jibber jabber tuckered Ru out because there were no more visits. It was on to elimination day. And Cracker was feeling herself for a hot minute in her internal takedown of Extra St. Clair, saying that she'd better step it up because she hadn't won a challenge yet. I like that Cracker. Where's that Cracker been? I just wish Cracker had the balls to say all that in public. I'm so serious. What I wish she wouldn't do in public is brush her hair. What was that? It just made me itchy. Shay and Alexis seem to be getting along. You know, I think they secretly like each other and will be best friends after the show. But until then, Shay don't trust her. While the queens were getting made up, Cracker asked the room how they planned to vote today. Both Shay and Jujube said they were going to vote with their hearts, but there was a lot of side-eye while they said that. Alexis just seemed to be wishing everyone would get over it so that she could. Then it was on to the runway, and I don't know if Ru was dressing for this challenge, but she looked like she was ready for a backyard ball somewhere. I'm so serious. And of course, joining Ru at the judges' table, Michelle Visage and Carson Kressley with this week's special guest judge, BB Rexa. Of course, Ru's sister, Roxy and Renee, were there as well, and they took a little time to reminisce about past Charles family reunions, which looked like a hoot. And then it was time for the backyard ball. Category is Country Cousin Realness, and Ms. Cracker was the first cousin to crash the party. Her crystal opal rose was hilarious, if not a little scary. Jujube was next as Cousin Ping, aka Amber, and she was hilarious. Not only that, she looked gorgeous. I think I'm going to have to wrestle Michelle for that hat. Blair was next as Cousin Darlene, aka Stinky. And except for those boots, Stinky stank. Next was Shay as Ru's baby niece Shaquita, aka Lil Kiki, sporting some Grandrea Zuckerwoman couture. And all I have to say about Shay's look on the runway is, I hope she brought enough Cheetos for everyone. I'm hungry. I thought Alexis started this part of the runway off strong. I love that pink wig, but it all went downhill from there. Even her wig reveal was boring. Seriously, not the week to be mediocre. Just saying. Then it was on to round 2. Backyard Barbecue Eleganza. And Cracker just took my breath away. I could not believe how chic this look was, how elegant, how simple, from her rackets fascinator to the shuttlecocks on her shoes. This look was everything. Watch. She's going to be responsible for red and white plaid coming back. Jujube was next, and all I can say is she's lucky I like her. Seriously. The best thing about this outfit was the wig. Now, don't get me wrong, the dress was cute for the mall, but I think the biggest thing that hurt Juju's runway was following Ms. Cracker. And then, all of a sudden, Juju's dress got way cuter. No offense to Blair Sinclair, but seriously, the problem with a dress like this is it's supposed to be effortless. It's supposed to look like it was blown onto your body by the winds of fashion. This looks like it was wrestled into place by a team from Home Hardware. Just saying. Plus, that cameo she had bothered me. It had no business being there. Neither did that wig. But her face was flawless. I thought I'd end with a compliment. And then it was Shay Coule's turn, and I completely forgot what everyone else was wearing. She totally took my breath away. I loved this look. And I'm even going to go so far as to say that Shay Coule single-handedly has broken the curse of chaps on the runway. I'm just saying. This was backyard eleganza at its finest. Plus, who doesn't love a wedding? Last but not least was Alexis, and I have to say I liked her dress too, at first. I mean, the applique work on the neckline and at the skirt was stunning. It was so intricate and beautiful, and made out of plastic drinking cups. It was amazing to me. But that fishtail, I was impressed that she used a blow-up kiddie pool for the hoops of the skirting, but she really should have had that pool closer to the ground. It should have been a lot lower, and the mermaid tail of her gown should have started lower as well at the knee. I feel like if she had maybe even had a bit of like something stiff under the skirt so it stayed over the kiddie pool, it would have been a much more elegant look for her. And speaking of that kiddie pool, I wish Alexis had finished the underside of that skirt if she had planned to reveal it. Maybe those solo cups took a lot more time to cut up than I thought. And then it was on to the judges' critiques. Not that they had any for Cracker. They loved her. Her crystal opal rose was hilarious. Bebe Rexha went as far as to say that Cracker was her favorite of the night, and Carson couldn't get enough of her shuttlecocks. Who could? But what was the best about Cracker's critique was her taking the time to compliment and thank Shay for all of her help and support. Of course, with all the praise that Cracker was getting, I'm starting to wonder if maybe Shay isn't regretting doing just that. Up next for the judges' love-in was Jujube, although I suspect Michelle was more about her big floppy hat. Unfortunately, that big hat did nothing to obscure Carson's view of Juju's sloppy side seams. By the way, sloppy side seams was my drag queen name in high school. Now, after that critique, I couldn't tell if Juju was thanking Shay or blaming her. Either way, she made sure that the judges knew she didn't do it alone. God bless Blair Sinclair, because I felt she got the roughest critique of the bunch. The judges didn't like her cousin, said she wasn't trashy enough, and they felt her backyard eleganza was more backyard barbecue. Plus, they hated her hair. At least Bebe Rexha liked her makeup enough to ask Blair to do hers, so it wasn't all bad. Next up was Shay Coule, another fave of the judges. Carson loved her Lil Kiki, especially the Grandrea Couture, and everyone loved her backyard bride. The thing that amazed me most, though, about Shay's critique was her learning a new word. Like me, she grew up calling them badminton birdies, not shuttlecocks. Actually, shuttlecock was my drag queen name in high school. And can I just say, I loved what Shay said when Michelle complimented her on helping the others with their sewing. She's right. Us queers are family, sometimes more family than our birth families, and it only helps us to help each other. Seriously. Shay for president. And then it was Alexis's turn, and as predicted, the judges did not like her country cousin. In fact, Bebe Rexha had wished she kept the pink wig on. And as for her eleganza, even though Michelle loved it, Carson agrees with me. The proportions were all off. Told ya. And then Ru announced that this week's winner was Ms. Cracker. As well, it should be. The rest were all in the bottom. Dun dun dun. So then it was off to the Untucked Lounge where the queens congratulated Miss Cracker on winning not only the challenge, but for making it to top 4. Blair was crushed, but then so was everyone but Cracker, until Cracker announced that for her, there were only 2 girls that she needed to consider to be in the bottom. And then it was just Alexis and Blair that were crushed. Clearly, Crackers learned nothing from the angina whiteout comment from episode 2. Of course, Blair took this announcement well. So, while Cracker talked to Blair, Alexis made her case with the rest of the queens, and it got a little emotional there, especially when she said, drag is supposed to be fun. I know I got misty. Blair, on the other hand, was doing herself no favors with Cracker with her "it's not fair" rant. I mean, seriously, you could practically see Cracker mentally packing for that trip to England she just won. But before the queens could politic anymore, it was time to head to the bathroom and vote. Of course, Blair and Alexis voted for each other, but as for the rest of the queens, who can say? And then it was time to return to the main stage where this week's secret lip sync assassin was revealed to be none other than Miss Thick and Juicy herself, Roxy Andrews. Now there's a lip sync assassin. Not only is she a good lip syncer, she is an excellent performer. Right away, I knew it was over for Cracker. No offense. This lip sync started off slow for me. Then Roxy burst out of her feathers. And then not much longer after that, she removed whatever this was to reveal her 2 best friends, Thick and Juicy. And all 3 of them eclipsed Cracker, literally. I'm not kidding. Cracker's in this picture. That's her leg right behind Roxy. She just completely blocked her from camera and the judges. In fact, Roxy did that more than a few times during the lip sync, Even when she hugged Cracker, she totally eclipsed her. And I don't mean that in a fat way. So when the music died, it was no surprise to me that Roxy Andrews had won this lip sync. It also was no surprise to me that she had Alexis Mateo's lipstick. I, for one, am going to miss Alexis. I thought she put up a good fight for this contest. Sure, it got sloppy there, but that's why I like her. So, there you have it, our top 4. Is the writing on the wall for Blair, or will she surprise us all by winning the main challenge next week and voting Shay Coule off, revealing herself as the mastermind behind all this season's subterfuge? And yes, I just used subterfuge correctly in a sentence. Or will the rest of the queens kick her little season 10 butt back to her mama? All we can do is tune into RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 5 next week to see how ugly it gets. And when it's all done, you come back and see me so you and I can compare notes. Now, don't forget to like this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'm almost at 5,000 subscriptions and I couldn't be happier. Thank you all for those of you who've already subscribed. And if you'd like to leave me a tip or support me and my channel, all you have to do is click on one of the links in the description box down below. Until next week, miss me! Mwah! Seriously, Jorge, I'm enjoying this tequila. Oh.